Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hopefully you guys are having a great Wednesday. Got lots of NHL news to discuss, so make sure that you stay tuned in to this episode until the end. As always, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe button if you are watching the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on YouTube, and if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on there. We are with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast and the latest hockey news going around the NHL or, of course, in general. Also, make sure to share these episodes as well. Really helps me out in growing the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. So if you have family, friends, buddies, acquaintances, make sure that you share each one of these episodes with them. Every episode I put out of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, make sure that you guys are sharing them so that if anybody else who hasn't heard the Hockey Talk TG podcast or don't know what it is, they can go in, they can listen to each episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. So make sure that you are hitting that shared button as well and sharing these with your relatives, your friends, your acquaintances, people that you see every now and then that you don't really talk to but talk to every now and then. Make sure that you share these episodes with them. Also, one more announcement before we go ahead and get started to the NHL news. I will be doing my 12 days of Vlogmas videos on the TG Hockey channel. I know it's the third day of December. I didn't really think about planning this at all, to be honest, but I thought, hey, I never tried this before. Why not try it now? So that will be something that I will be doing on the TG Hockey channel. So make sure that after this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast, you head on over to the TG Hockey channel and subscribe there. I will be putting out my 12 days of Vlogmas videos on there. So yeah, I just wanted to make that announcement before we go ahead and get started. Something new, something I haven't tried before, and I just wanted to try it since, you know, it's the month of Christmas. It's December. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the NHL news for today. We'll start things off recapping the Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens game. So Brady Tkachuk scores his first goal of the season in the Senators' 5-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens on Tuesday. This is his third game back with the team. He's missed the past 20 games with a broken right thumb injury. 6 games this season overall for Brady Tkachuk. He also had an assist for a 2-point night, and Ottawa moves to 13-9-4 this season. If you guys haven't noticed, the Tkachuk brothers, both Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, they put out a podcast not too long ago, maybe about a week or two ago, called Wingman. It is a funny podcast. I like that podcast. They talk about hockey, of course, because they're hockey players, and they talk about life and just, you know, things in general. It's a really funny, great podcast to listen to. So you should check out that podcast if you have not already. It's a really great podcast. So maybe after this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast, you guys can, you know, go check that out. It's called Wingman. I don't know if they are going to change the name. I like the name Wingman, by the way. It is a great name for their podcast. They did mention on the first episode they did that they might change their name, but I think they should stick good with Wingman. But yeah, it is a great podcast. It has both Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, obviously. So you guys go check out that podcast if you have not already. But still staying with this game, Fabian Zetterlund had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Ottawa overall had a dominant second period. They extended their lead with 2 second-period goals from Jake Sanderson and Drake Batherson, and Artem Zub also scored for Ottawa. David Perron had an assist in his 1,000th career NHL game. Of course, he's played with the Blues. He's played with the Senators. I believe he played with the Flyers. He's played with the Golden Knights. So he's been around the league for a long, long time. He won a Stanley Cup with St. Louis in 2019. I'm not sure if he won one with Vegas or not, but I know he won one with St. Louis in 2019. So it's nice to see David Perron getting assisted in his 1,000 career NHL game. And Linus Ullmark made 19 saves on 21 shots faced in net. And for the Montreal Canadiens, Nick Suzuki had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. His goal coming on the power play for his 8th goal of the season. Juraj Slavkovsky also scored in this game. His goal coming 3 minutes and 37 seconds into the first period. Also a power play goal. And Sam Montembeault made 24 saves on 29 shots faced the net. And the Canadiens not looking so, well, I wouldn't say not looking so good for them. I mean, they lost 2 in a row. It's not like they lost 6 in a row. They lost 2 in a row. Bad news, though, that's worse than that, is they're out of a wild card spot, and they dropped to 13-93 this season. Hopefully we get to see the Montreal back in the playoff spot, and hopefully the Bruins, too, since they had a surprising start to the season as well. But we'll just have to see how everything goes. The Canadiens are back at home against the Winnipeg Jets on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The Senators begin a 3-game homestand against the New York Rangers on Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But now let's move on to the Gavin McKenna Bowl between the Nashville Predators and the Calgary Flames. The Nashville Predators put up a 5 spot in their 5-1 win over the Calgary Flames on Tuesday. Only reason why I'm calling this the Gavin McKenna Bowl, I'm not sure if I said this on Monday's episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, but I think I said it, but I don't know. I'll say it again on this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. The only reason why I called this game the Gavin McKenna Bowl is because the Flames and the Predators are most likely not going to make the playoffs. They'll be one of the top 5 teams in the bottom of the league, in the top 5 bottom teams, I should say. They'll be the top 5 bottom teams in the league, along with St. Louis and I don't know. But I can see if this NHL season continues to be the way that it is for both Calgary and Nashville, if they continue to suck, then they could have good chances of getting Gavin McKenna. I can very well see either Calgary getting Gavin McKenna or Nashville getting Gavin McKenna. It wasn't like this at the start of the season. At the start of the season, I thought Pittsburgh would be one of the teams in the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, but it turns out they're not. So I think it's either going to be Calgary or Nashville that gets Gavin McKenna. St. Louis could be on that train too, but most likely Calgary or Nashville. We'll just have to see how everything would go for this 2025-26 NHL season. But anyways, with the win for Nashville, they moved to 9-13-4 of the season. They won 3 of their last 4 games. Steven Stamkos had a milestone night in the Music City as he notched his 1,200 career NHL points. Scored on the 2-on rush feed. He scored on the 2-on-1 rush. Nice pass from Luke Evangelista to set him up for the goal, which that goal made it 2-0. And fun fact, Steven Stamkos became the 6th active player and 53rd player overall in NHL history to reach the mark. It was also his 589th career NHL goal, the 5th most in league history at the time of the milestone. Of course, he was behind Brett Hull, 656 goals, Alex Ovechkin, 653 goals, Mike Gardner, 636 goals, and Dino Ciccarelli with 608 goals. Michael Bunting had a goal and assist for a 2-point night for Nashville. And it was also milestone nights for Reed Schaefer and Ozzy Weissblatt. I think Reed Schaefer, I did look this up because I'm not sure if he's related to Matthew Schaefer. I don't think he is. Well, actually, I did look this up. It did say that they are cousins. Matthew Schaefer and Reed Schaefer, it did say that they are cousins. Because I was like, I watched the 2025 NHL draft, and I don't think I, heard this name, Reed Schaefer, mostly because he was drafted 2022 in the 2022 NHL draft. And Reed Schaefer, I don't think, was with Matthew Schaefer doing when he got drafted by the Islanders. So I had to look this up to see if he had any relation with Matthew Schaefer, and it did say that they are cousins in the NHL. So, yeah, but a milestone night for Reed Schaefer and Ozzy Weisblatt as both of them scored their first career NHL goals. Jonathan Marchessault, he had a goal in this one for Nashville, first game back with the team. He missed the previous 2 games due to a lower body injury, and UC Sauls made 27 saves on 28 shots faced the net. And like Nashville Predators head coach Andrew Burnett said, there was a lot of special nights for a bunch of different people. Obviously, you had Stammer getting his 1,200 career NHL point. You had Reed Schaefer and Ozzy Weisblatt scoring their first career NHL goals. And to cap it off with a win is really impressive as well. So a great win in the Music City for the Nashville Predators. And for the Calgary Flames, didn't get shut out in this one. Morgan Frost, he scored the lone goal for Calgary. That goal coming on in the third period on the power play for his 7th goal of the season. And Devin Cooley allowed 4 goals on 16 shots faced in net, and so he was replaced by Dustin Wolf, who made 11 saves on 12 shots faced in net. And the Calgary Flames, they lost 3 of their last 4 games, 1, 2, and 1 during the span, and they end their 5-game road trip with a 2-2-1 record, and they dropped to 9-15-4 of the season. They will head home, though, to start a 4-game homestand against the Minnesota Wild on Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Predators will head to Florida to take on the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But now moving on from the Music City to the Sin City, the Golden Knights and the Chicago Blackhawks. Carter Hart, he stops 27 of 30 shots faced in net in the Golden Knights 4-3 shootout win over the Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday. He stopped 6 shots in overtime, and then he stopped 3 or 4 shootout attempts to secure the win for the VGK Vegas Golden Knights. This is his first game back in the NHL. He hasn't played in the NHL. His last NHL appearance was in the 2023-24 NHL season. Specifically, his last game was on January 20th of 2024, and obviously he was on the Philadelphia Flyers at the time. He had a 12-93 record with a 2.80 goals against average and a .906 save percentage and 1 shutout. He was one of the 5 players involved in the 2018 Team Canada sexual assault case. Won't get into that though, but just wanted to mention that, but won't get fully into depth about that. Shea Theodore, he had the shootout game-winning goal for Vegas. He had 2 assists in regulation. And the Golden Knights moved to 12-6-8 the season. 2nd win in a row for Vegas, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because they had to win against Chicago Blackhawks, in which you guys know I am a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan. And I wanted us to win, especially after that comeback win over the Anaheim Ducks on Sunday. 5-3 win over the Ducks. And then we dropped this one in the shootout. But yeah, for Vegas, this is their 2nd win in a row after losing their previous 4, and they lost their past 7 games that went to OT. So they really needed this win. I just wish it was against a different opponent, though. But hey, it is what it is. Brendan Bowman had the game-time goal in the game for Vegas. He scored late with 2 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. He also had an assist for a 2-point night. And the 22-year-old has 9 points in his first 11 NHL games this season. So 5 goals, 4 assists for 9 points in 11 games for Brendan Bowman. Ivan Barbashev, he had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Ben Hutton also scored for Vegas. And like I said, Carter Hart, first game back, he gets the win in his first game back in the NHL, stopping 27 of 30 shots faced in net. And for the Blackhawks, Tyler Bertuzzi, he had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Connor Bedard and Oliver Moore had the other goals for Chicago. And let's talk about Connor Bedard's goals in the game. The goal in, I believe it was the 3rd period, and then the shootout goal. Both absolutely filthy goals scored In the third period, it was a pinpoint shot past Carter Hart. And then in the shootout, he had a little swifty, deakish kind of move in the shootout. Almost kind of reminded me of the Nikita Kucherov shootout goal where Nikita Kucherov kind of faked and didn't have his stick on the puck and kind of just fooled the goalie. It kind of reminded me, Bedard's shootout goal kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, both unreal goals, filthy goals for Connor Bedard. He was actually named the third star of the month of November. He had, I believe, it was 23 points in 14 games. In the month of November, he was named the NHL's third star of the month. So that was great to see as well. Of course, Nathan McKinnon and Jason Robinson were the other two. But Bedsy put on an absolute show in November. He's going to have a better December performance as well. Spencer Knight made 25 saves on 28 shots faced in net. And the Blackhawks have lost 6 of their last 7 games. 1-4-2 during the span. And they dropped to 11-9-6 of the season. On the bright side, we do get a point out of this one. For those who are new to hockey, a win in regulation, or a win in general, I should say, a win in general is 2 points. A regulation loss is 0 points. And an overtime or shootout loss is 1 point. So I just like to say that for the people that are new to hockey. But the Blackhawks, they continue their 4-game road trip out in L.A. against the L.A. Kings on Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will be another game for the Blackhawks that will be coming on Hulu and ESPN+. They will face the Kings again on Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then they wrap up their 4-game road trip against the Anaheim Ducks on Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Not sure if the game from Sunday will carry over to that game against Anaheim on Sunday, December 7th. We'll just have to see how everything goes. Hopefully the Blackhawks can get some wins on this road trip as well before heading back home. Maybe go on a little bit of a win streak. Is that too much to ask for? But we'll just have to see how the Hawks do on this 4-game road trip. Obviously, heartbreaking loss in Vegas, but hopefully we rebound against LA on Thursday. The Golden Knights will also be on a road trip of their own. This game against the Blackhawks was their last game of their homestand, and so they will start a 5-game road trip in Newark, New Jersey against the New Jersey Devils on Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on NHL Network for you guys to watch. But moving on to the Wild and Oilers game, Jesper Wallstedt makes 33 saves in the Wild's 1-0 shutout win over the Edmonton Oilers. So Jesper Wallstedt was a wall in this one. No pun intended. He was an absolute unit in this one, getting the shutout win for the Minnesota Wild. This was his 4th shutout in his past 6 starts, and he currently leads the NHL in shutouts this season, I believe. But like I said, 4 shutouts. So he has like 4 shutouts this season. Like I said, leads the NHL in shutouts. And fun fact, Jesper Wallstedt became just the 4th rookie netminder in NHL history and the first in 87 years to record 4 shutouts over a span of 6 games. And a while they stay red hot. They extend their point streak to 12 games in which they are 10-0-2 during the span, and they improve to 15-7-5 of the season. 3rd place in the Central Division. And I should also mention that Jesper Wallstedt was named Rookie of the Month in November, and he had a perfect 6-0-0 record in November. And he leads the NHL with 4 shutouts this season. 5 of his last 10 NHL wins have come in a shutout victory for Jesper Wallstedt. So he could be putting hhis name in the Calder Trophy conversations with Matthew Schaefer, with, I would say Michael Misa, but I think he's injured for the San Jose Sharks. But Jesper Wallstedt could be putting his name in the Calder Trophy conversation with Matthew Schaefer, Ivan Demidov, Beckett Seneca, and so many other more NHL rookies. Jonas Brodin, he has the long goal in this one for the Minnesota Wild. Slap shot at 13 minutes and 11 seconds of the first period off of a face-off win by Nico Sturm, and the shot beat Edmonton goaltender Stuart Skinner clean over his glove and, of course, gave the Minnesota Wild the 1-0 lead. The only goal in the game. And speaking of Stuart Skinner, he made 23 saves on 24 shots faced in net for the Edmonton Oilers. And the Oilers, they outshot the Minnesota Wild. I believe they outshot the Wild in this game. Not sure. I didn't really take a look at that stat, but they outshot them most notably in the second period, 15-6, but still could have saw Jesper Wallstedt. Their power play didn't do no good for them. They went 0 for 2 on the power play. And Kirill Kaprizov's goal-scoring drought ends at 5 games. His point streak also ended. And Leon Draisaitl's 8-game point streak had came to an end, which he had 13 points during an 8-game point streak, 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points during an 8-game point streak. But anyways, with the loss, the Oilers dropped to 11-11-5 of the season. So they're right at 500. They were shut out for the first time this season. They won 2 of their last 3 games coming into this one, but couldn't get the W over the Minnesota Wild. And the Oilers continue their 5-game homestand against the Seattle Kraken Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Wild continue their 4-game Western Canada road trip against the Calgary Flames Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're moving on to the Colorado Avalanche and the Vancouver Canucks game. So Nate Mack, he scored twice in the Avalanche's 3-1 win on the Vancouver Canucks on Tuesday. His first goal coming in with 37 seconds left in the first period, tucking home a rebound to tie the game up at 1. And then his second goal was a one-timer from the right circle off of a pass from Avalanche captain Gabriel Landeskog late in the second period to give the Avs a 3-1 lead. And Colorado improves to 19-1-6 of the season. They sit atop of the Central Division with 44 points. They are 11-0-2 at home this season, and they extend their point streak to 17 games, in which they are 14-0-3 during the span. Second longest point streak in franchise history. And Brock Nelson, the veteran, he had a goal in this game for the Colorado Avalanche. And Gabriel Landeskog had 2 assists in the game as well. Scott Wedgwood made 10 of 11 saves in the win. He eventually had to leave this game, though, at 12 minutes and 28 seconds of the second period with an upper body injury. And so Mackenzie Blackwood came in relief and stopped all 11 shots faced in the Avalanche's 3-1 win over the Vancouver Canucks. And for the Canucks, Linus Karlsson, I almost called them Leo Karlsson. Of course, Leo Karlsson plays on the Anaheim Ducks and not the Vancouver Canucks. But Linus Karlsson, not Leo Karlsson, scored the long goal for Vancouver in this one. That goal coming early in the first period, 2 minutes and 55 seconds in the first period. 5th goal of the season, scoring on the backhand. Kevin Lankinen, former Chicago Blackhawks goaltender, made 28 saves on 31 shots faced in net. And the Canucks have lost 3 straight games, and they dropped to 10-14-3 of the season. But the Canucks will head home for the start of a 4-game homestand against the Utah Mammoth on Friday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Avalanche start a 4-game road trip in New York against the Islanders on Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Other games from the Tuesday slate, obviously there was 10 games on the slate for Tuesday. I'll only recap 5 of them. But taking a look at the other 5 games from Tuesday, the Red Wings held off the Boston Bruins with a 5-4 win in their original 6 showdown in Moldatown on Tuesday. I think they played each other last Saturday as well. So I don't know if any fireworks came over from that game in Boston, in Detroit. The Bruins did try to mount a comeback in this one after being down 5-2 in the third period, but it wasn't enough as the Red Wings came out with the win. The Islanders hold off the Tampa Bay Lightning with a 2-1 win on Tuesday. They'll be playing each other, I believe, this Saturday, because I said this on the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Monday's episode. So they'll be playing each other a few times in December. They'll play each other this Saturday, and then they will play each other next Saturday the 13th in Long Island. But this Saturday, they'll be in Tampa against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then next Saturday, the 13th, they'll be playing at Long Island. The Rangers went 3-2 in overtime against the Dallas Stars. Vladislav Gavrikov with the overtime game-winning goal. And the Maple Leafs win 4-1 over the Florida Panthers. And the Panthers, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. I'm kind of surprised. They lost 3 straight games. They're 12-1 of the season, right at 500. And they're the last team in the Atlantic Division with 25 points. Last team in the Eastern Conference. So I'm kind of shocked, especially since they're the defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But I understand that they do have some injury problems with Matthew Tkachuk, which hopefully he returns by December 15th. And their captain, Sasha Barkov, Alexander Barkov, he's going to be out for the entire season. So they do have some injury problems, but they still have pieces to make another run at the Stanley Cup. But they're just in this losing slump. So hopefully they get out of it soon, though. Because, like I said, they still have pieces on their team to make another run at the Stanley Cup, even without their top 2. Well, obviously having Tkachuk and Barkov in the lineup, you're going to win a lot of hockey games. But they still have pieces to make another run to the playoffs and possibly to the Stanley Cup. The Capitals, they went 3-1 against the LA Kings in LA. Hopefully the Blackhawks can give the LA Kings another loss on Thursday and then again on Saturday. But we'll just have to see how everything will go. We're taking a look at the NHL games on the slate for today. There's only 5 NHL games on the slate for today, starting with the Dallas Stars taking on the New Jersey Devils at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, followed by a Canadian showdown between the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And then we got the Buffalo Sabres headed to the city of brotherly love to take on the Philadelphia Flyers at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That game will air on TNT and HBO Max for you guys to watch. And then we got the Utah Mammoth taking on the Anaheim Ducks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. The last time these two teams faced off against each other in Anaheim, I believe this was a comeback win for the Anaheim Ducks. They tied the game late in the third period, and then they won in overtime. Will that be the same case again? Will the Ducks get another win at home against Utah? We'll just have to see how this game will go. And then we got the Washington Capitals taking on Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Capitals won 3-1 in LA yesterday. Can they get another road win against another California team in the San Jose Sharks? We'll just have to see how this game will go. Well, also Ovechkin scored in this one. He's up to 909 career NHL goals. He did not score in their win over the LA Kings yesterday. He did get an assist, though. I believe this was on Ryan Leonard's goal. It was on. I did see he had an assist in the game. I think it was an assist on Ryan Leonard's goal. I believe Ryan Leonard scored, and then Ovi had an assist on there. So he did get an assist in that one. Could he score in this one? We'll just have to see how this game will be played out. The Sharks are coming off of a win over the. They're coming off of a home win. I'm forgetting who the opponent was. I don't watch the Sharks often. I watch the Blackhawks, but the Sharks are coming off of a home win against, I believe it was against the Mammoth. It was against the Utah Mammoth. So, Will Smith had that highlight reel goal in the game. So, yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe on the YouTube channel for the Hockey Talk TG podcast. And make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. I saw the Spotify Wrapped hat came out. It came out for me. It came out for everybody else. Hopefully you have the Hockey Talk with TG podcast as your number one podcast that you listen to this year in 2025 at the top of your list to all my Spotify listeners. Hopefully the Hockey Talk TG podcast is at the top of your list for your top 5, top 3 podcasts that you listen to this year. We're with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to hit that follow button, hit that notification bell button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. And again, since Spotify released their Spotify rap thing this year, thank you to all my Spotify listeners. Thank you to my listeners in general for listening to the Hockey Talk TG podcast this year. Really do appreciate it and really help to get more listeners in as well. But thank you to everyone who's listened to the Hockey Talk TG podcast this year. Really do appreciate it. I love talking hockey with you guys. I love hockey in general. I love playing it, watching it, talking about it, writing about it because I am a journalism major with a minor in sports media. So I love the game of hockey in general, and I love talking hockey with you guys and engaging with it, engaging with you guys as well. So yeah, I really do love this. I love doing the Hockey Talk TG podcast, and I love hockey in general. So yeah, it really makes my day better to see you guys engaging with me, to see you guys listening to the Hockey Talk TG podcast. I really do appreciate it. And just thank you once again to all my listeners, wherever you listen from, for listening to the Hockey Talk TG podcast this year. And here's to many more in 2026. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys on Friday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.